Oh my god. It's been so long. I don't even remember how to do this anymore. Rawr. 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 Hi everyone. It's been forever. Has graced me with their presence. Who hasn't forgotten about me?
What am I supposed to do all day while you're at school?
I don't know. What do you normally do when I'm gone?
Wait for you to get back.
Yeah, no, I'm still a little jet lagged. I get really tired once it hits about 8 o'clock my time, and then I'm like ready to conk out. So I tried to take a nap earlier. Didn't work because I'm a dumbass and I kept watching Twitch streams. Vacation was good. What we're actually going to do today is we're going to talk about it. I have a bunch of pictures, so I'm just going to kind of go through it in slideshow form. You asked about my feet. The trim is, you asked about my feet. A lot better. My feet got completely destroyed when I was out there. Bam! There we go. Yeah, it kind of works. Look at that. So, for those who don't know, for my trip, I went on a little trip to Japan for about 2 weeks. I went to Japan with a group of 6 other people, so there were 7 of us. I had to fly out to Pittsburgh, because flying out of Pittsburgh was the cheapest way out of the country to Japan. So I flew out to Texas, and then we flew to Pittsburgh, and then I stayed there a night, and then the next morning we got on a flight to New York, and then from New York to Japan. And it was a 14-hour flight, and it fucking sucked. I never want to be on a plane for that long. Yeah, it was rough, man. I did sleep through half of it. I did employ my superpowers of being able to just conk out on a plane. If you ever go on a plane flight with me, just know I will be asleep for 90% of it because for some reason, I'm just able to sleep. After all that flying, we had to do more traveling. So these were just some views I took from my bullet train. It was very pretty. Like, this was all the same trip. Like, it went from sunny to cloudy to, you know, city-like to the outskirts. It was just really pretty. Yeah, I'd never been on a train before, so this was really fun. I enjoyed it. So the first thing we did was we visited Osaka Castle. I don't have very many photos because I don't know if you've all ever been to Japan in the summer, but it's terribly hot. Terribly hot. It was like 90 plus degrees every day with near like 100% humidity. I hate the heat. I don't do well with humidity, especially. I grew up in a desert. I'm used to dry heat. When I say I was cartoonishly sweaty, like, look at any GIF you type on the internet of sweaty, where it's just like water just pouring off of people. That was me the entire time. I was disgusting. I was just horrible. Like, I had thought I prepared well, because like I brought myself a long skirts to, you know, so stuff wouldn't stick to me, cool shirts, you know, all that stuff. I was miserable. So it was just hot. Yeah, Key and Peele sweating, I was disgusting. But, you know, castle is beautiful. Look at it, it's beautiful. Yeah, I took a couple pictures, but it was mainly me just cartoonishly sweating. But at the Osaka Castle, they had a figurine museum, which was kind of cool. So we went in to escape the heat and look at figurines. So I took a couple of pictures. My girl Biolante here, she was pretty cool looking. This really cool Godzilla, Space Godzilla, and Mogira. I thought it was pretty sweet. Do you look at that absolute cutie? Godzilla looking adorable as usual. I forgot to put the other one, but there was a black and white one with Godzilla fighting Anguirus. I forgot to put it in here. Oh well. But that one was pretty cute too. Oh, okay. So next day, we finally went to Denden Town, which is kind of like the anime shopping figurine video game store. And they have those little claw machines. I found the claw machine. And I tried to win one for Sanis, but I couldn't. Every time I would grab it and it would get to the top, it would just fall. I didn't want to give it all my money, so I took a picture for Sanis and I said, I tried. Not the censored. Look, I didn't know if I'd be in trouble. Why the fuck is Giorno on there? I don't know. He's posing with the I don't know. That place was cool. We were able to run around and get some stuff. I don't remember if I bought anything from this area. I was a little more stingy with my money than I probably should have been, honestly. I kind of wish I would have bought more, but I don't know. I was always like, no, I'll get something else. This was my, like, first official meal in Japan with some ramen. This was very good. It was a pork broth. It was a tonkatsu ramen. It was a little shop in an alleyway, and we got to order by using one of those like vending machine things and then like handing them a ticket. It was very good. I loved it. It was very flavorful, very rich. Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of this ramen. My first meal was ramen, and my last meal in Japan was ramen. Yummy. I do have lots of food pictures. So, okay, so this was the next thing we did. We went to a botanical garden at that night. It was called Teamland Planets. It was a nighttime outdoor thing with plants and lights and stuff. It was very, very pretty. It looks like jelly eggs. Yeah, they have these little lit up jelly egg things. So they let us in waves, and it's this pretty path we had to follow, and they played some like fancy ethereal music and stuff like that. Then they had these big eggs that would change color if you smacked them. And then there was like little lake, and then they had these lanterns. So, fun fact, the reason why we went on this trip is because one of the friends was planning on proposing to his girlfriend. So this is where he proposed, and she said yes. Whee!
Oh, gee.
And then afterwards, we went and got some Korean barbecue, and I got sake, because my dad told me to. Not a fan. I didn't like the sake. But yeah, we got a couple of different pieces of meat. I think we got like intestine. We got all the weird stuff. There was like heart and intestine and tongue and all sorts of stuff. So next day, we went to the Pokemon Cafe because we had reservations. Oh, at this point, when it comes to the sweaty nest adventures, I was slowly learning. I got myself a sun umbrella. I got myself a hand fan to blow, cool air on my face. And then I got myself 2 handkerchiefs so I could wipe the sweat from my sweaty body. Yeah, that was disgusting. Anyway, so the next day, we had the Pokemon Cafe adventures. This place was cool. It was in a mall, and there was a lot of floors, and each floor had something unique, because you'll see later, but there was the Capcom store, there was the Godzilla store, there was the Studio Ghibli store. Yeah, so this was the entry, and then we had the little line on the left here. Like my face blurring technique. So this is where we sat. So this was cute. They had, our little tables, and then each had different sections. So we were the Absol section. They had the Mega Evolutions as the theme, which is pretty cool because I've always been a fan of the Mega Evolutions. So this wasn't mine. Someone else ordered this, but I had to take a picture of it because it was so cute. This was like a dessert sandwich. And then this wasn't eggs. This was yellow whipped cream with fruit and a little croissant Pikachu tail. It was very cute. I shared this cake. It was the little Mega Ampharos, thank you. I was thinking Mary, but I'm like, no, that's the baby. But no, it was very good. It was this little lemony thing, but then his tail was chocolate, and then this was a little lemon sorbet type thing with this jelly stuff. It was very good, and it had this caramel sauce on the side. This was good. I enjoyed it a lot. So this is what I ate. It was the little Snorlax plate. Everything else was curry. So it had a lot of egg and stuff, and I was trying to stay away from the egg. So it was a shrimp fried rice, and then grilled chicken, and then little potatoes, some veggies, and then a little salad. Oh, and then the barbecue sauce. This was very good. I enjoyed this. I also got this. Look at the Sinistine Poltergeist. Look at how f***ing cute. It was a strawberry tea. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I love Poltergeist and Sinisty. I was able to buy from the store the Poltergeist teapot. They did not have the teacup, which made me really sad. But I was able to get the teapot. I was like, yoink, I'm buying that. And it came with a cookie. A little cookie. The food, a lot better than I expected. I always heard that it was really cute, but the food is kind of mid. The food, it was actually pretty tasty, so I liked it. And right next to it was the Pokemon Center. Look at how many different plushies they had. It's nuts. It has so many heckin' plushies. I was able to get myself my Clodsire and my Wooper. They had a really big Wooper, a big, you see how big these spheres are? But I was like, there's no way I could fit that little guy, that big guy in my suitcase. So I didn't get him. But I got a little baby Wooper. Oh wait, here's the Monster Hunter thingy before you go. This was at the front of the store. Look at the big kitty. Yeah, this was the Capcom store. This one was very, very cool. It was the Godzilla store. Look at that big boy. Look at that big boy. And then they had like all of these really cool figurines up top here. I wanted this Biolante one so bad. Didn't have a lot of -1 stuff, surprisingly. Whereas Anguirus, I know, I didn't see really anything. There was like something that had to do with like Godzilla and Anguirus. I forgot what it was for, but there wasn't anything that was just my boy. There was also the Studio Ghibli store, but I call it the Studio Ghibli store, but it was more like the Totoro store because my neighbor Totoro filled like 80% of that store. And my favorite Ghibli movie is Howl's Moving Castle, and there was like nothing for Howl's Moving Castle, and it made me cry a big fat tear of sadness. Dotonbori, there you go, which is like a very large, sprawling, touristy area that you can get a lot of food and a lot of stuff. So this is like the famous Glilko man. Everyone always tries to imitate that pose. So you see like there's just like a ton of shopping streets and then the big river going through here. And they tried to splash people, which was pretty cool. Yeah, it was tourist trappy, but it was very cool. I mean, it was just kind of cool to see. The next day we went to Nara, and Nara is very famous for the deers that will bow to you, and they will just come up to you and bite you and ask you for crackers. They were very heckin' cute. And then we just walk up and be like, yo, you got any crackers? And you have to like hold out your hands and be like, please don't mug me for my crackers. They were everywhere. And these are all wild deer. Oh yeah, wait, you can actually hear a baby deer that was yelling in this one. Hold on. Here's the baby deer. I mean, nest food is like a treat for the deers. They kept biting my butt. I was like, I don't have any crackers, please. Oh yeah, and then at one point, it started raining, so we went to a shrine, and I thought it was just really pretty. So, we went and got some unagi. The way they talked about how to eat this is they're like, okay, you get a little bit of rice, scoop, and the eel, and just eat it plain. And then they're like, take the other half and put like the fresh, okay, I'm a huge fan of fresh grated wasabi. Now that shit is fucking delicious. I can never go back to the fake stuff. So you put some wasabi, put some green onions, and eat like that. And then when you have just like a bit of rice left, you pour in this like green tea broth thing that they have, and then you made the rest of this into like this little porridge. It was so delicious. I enjoyed this a lot. We spent most of our day in Osaka, or most of our time in Osaka, because that's where it was, and it was gorgeous. So like this area, it was like a room full of mirrors, and then they had like these hanging orchids, and it would like move up and down. It was very pretty. And then they brought back their infamous jelly beans. And then this room was kind of cool. Everything was like something you could catch on your phone through an app. And there was like a bunch of different types. So like there was these lizards, or like these, like there were rhinos or elephants, and you would just catch them and stuff like that. So this part was really cool. The water segment was super interesting because they had you take off your shoes, and then you would like walk up this hill that was like this running water, and then they would have you walk through these like really darkened rooms that had like different textures for your feet to touch, which was kind of cool. And then this room, it was just water all the way up to your knees, and then like these fake fish that would like swim around you. How are they all bioluminescent? It was they were like little hologram lights, so it wasn't like they were actually in the water. Seriously, cat? You are being a pain right now. Oh yeah, and then this one was really pretty. So this one, it was like this dome, this room that was like a dome, and then they played like these flowers falling down, and the room and the floor was a mirror. So it was a little hard to walk, but you were encouraged to walk in and lay down and just watch it. And it was really pretty. There was a nice break for my feet. And it played this pretty music. Look at how pretty. Throughout this whole trip, I hadn't gotten like one bit of sushi, and I adore sushi. It's like one of my favorite things ever. So we went off and we found a little tiny place. It was run by like this older husband and wife team. They didn't speak a lick of English, but we were able to use the translator app. We were able to get like this little sashimi plate with some raw wasabi that we got to grate ourselves. But it was gorgeous. Not a fan of raw shrimp, I will say, but everything else was pretty damn good. This is the most controversial photo that I know I'm going to get shipped for. But the very last day, we went to a different sushi place, and it was kind of one of those like revolving sushi. This is abalone. Hands up, don't yell at me. When I ordered it, I didn't see that it said live abalone. So when they brought it, it was very freshly peeled from its shell and put on a top of rice, and that's its innards, and it was still moving, and I was freaking out. I've always wanted to try abalone. Like I said, I didn't realize it was live. I was freaking out. I felt horrible because you're supposed to put the salt and the lemon on top and blah blah blah, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I should not have done this, but I kind of had that mindset where I was like, I can sit here and just let it suffer, or I can just eat it and get it over with and just be a little more aware next time. But yeah, it was delicious. Don't get me wrong. It was like a weird crunchy kind of texture, but I ate it and I ate it quickly. I got it over with. It was delicious. Probably never order it again live. This was one of the last meals I had. It was a tempura bowl. And then my last meal at the airport was some ramen. It was pretty good. That was basically my Japan trip. Those are all my photos. Alright, friends. I think I've hit my limit. I'm tired. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you guys for keeping me company. You all are so cute and sweet, and I love you all bunches. Thank you for the follows and the subbies and all that stuff.